Hello, Gemini, and welcome to your October forecast. I'm Nicholas Ashbaugh. Really great to see everybody. Many of you ask about Apollo. He's right behind me. Let's switch to his view. Just resting, holding some space for you. So hopefully that brings you a little bit of zen as we get started here. This is a monthly forecast. It's going to help you with the month of October. You can use it for sun, rising, and moon, and you can watch it whenever you need it. Some people, want to watch it at the very beginning of the month, and others are planners. Whatever works for you, it's here as a resource. Let's get started with my favorite part, which is channeled messages. Basically, every morning I tune into my own intuition, meditate and get some signs and symbols. I also look at the dreams that I had the night before because I set an intention to receive messages for you. Here's what I saw. It was really interesting. In dreams, I was shown almost like this museum of you. And basically, this would be something that you would look at when your life is over, kind of like in life review. And what I was being shown in respect to your sign was a big focus on work and achieving. And these are good things, actually, but it looked like there were some missing components. There was a partner that came in. There was also like a family member that came in, and they were pointing to like a desk where there wasn't really any pictures of other parts of your life. And so the first reminder from Spirit is have some fun and connect with the people that you love. There was this sense of distraction, and I think we can get distracted by trying to meet all of these sort of expectations of our family, of our bosses, from our own highest self, where we're trying to kind of accomplish things. Take time to be very present. Enjoy the moment. Spend some time with people you love, like your pets, and really make sure that you're not missing out on those important moments in life. Because sometimes you blink your eyes and, years go by. So we don't want that to happen. Be present. That's the first message. The other thing that I saw was, it was kind of like science fiction movie where there was this spell that was cast, but it was a spell of chaos or distraction. So it's kind of feeding into what we were talking about with the first message. Some of you may be focused on all of that sort of practical stuff and you're missing the spiritual or the social or the emotional components, but otherwise there could be some things going on around you that are taking you out of the opportunity of the moment. Think also what's coming through my mind right now is kind of like the Wizard of Oz, where there's the tornado, just a lot of movement, sometimes movement for no reason. So try to find stillness. And again, I'll keep going back to Apollo because he's so still, he helps me. And I listened to all of your comments where you wanted to see more of him. So you're getting your wishes here. But yeah, find a moment to be still. Dogs, pets, children, they're very good at being able to hold space. Unlike the human counterparts, where we're constantly kind of like on our watch, on our devices. That's why I usually take it off before I do a reading, because I don't want to be distracted. So find places where you can be the calm in the storm. The last thing that came through in dreams was the scent of gardenia, is what my intuition told me. It was so sweet. It could be either magnolia or gardenia, but if memory serves, gardenia is a little bit sweeter. And it's telling me that there could be love or something sweet on the horizon for you. It's an auspicious symbol. Now, if it were magnolia, that's kind of a very ancient energy. I connect it with the beetle, which is rebirth. But gardenia is just a little bit more fun, a little bit more playful. And I usually connect it to incoming love, relationships. I just felt this loving energy coming forth. So if you take time to slow down, if you take time to tune in, you're going to see just how much you have around you. And wealth is not just the money, and accomplishment is not just sort of measured in, how many awards you get. Wealth is the friends. Wealth is the quality of living. Accomplishment is what kind of an impact you make on the world. Take in those sweet things, and other good stuff is en route. So we're going to take a look at the cards now. We'll see where there might be opportunities for you perhaps to slow down, where there might be some distractions, and maybe where some of the sweet stuff is too. Let's get started. Before we begin, let's let go of the mental cobwebs. Imagine, if you will, a beautiful bright blue sky. And as you start to look at the limitless firmament above you, welcome in your angels, spirit guides, ascended masters, and of course, the knowledge from your highest self will also bring through the wisdom of the divine as well. All right. That being said, you can now gently open your eyes, and let's begin. Always good to set intentions when you can. I'm trying to be a little bit more mindful of including you in that so you can add that to your ritual as well. Okay, here we go. Let's begin. We're going to get started here with your catalyst energy. We have pipe, ceremony, and prayer. It may be time for some of you to clear your spaces. The ceremony, of course, could just be a morning ritual for many of you, setting the intentions, just like I did before I was shuffling all of the cards. It can be setting intentions before starting a task, but this is also clearing of the space. I'm looking at the smoke, thinking, time to smudge. So a combination of setting intentions, but also clearing your mind so that you can receive when you're actually engaging within something. We see, of course, on this side here, prayer coming through. You can call prayer whatever you want to. It's basically you connecting to whatever your definition of the higher power is or your higher self and just saying, let's do this. Let's partner up. I'm ready. And really focusing on the ready, willing, and worthy portion of it so that spirit can kind of like hand in hand co-create with you. That's where you're at your most powerful, and you can enter into that energy of the magician. All right, let's look at the table here and see if there's an overarching trend. First of all, as I was pulling cards, there were a couple of instances where twos were coming together. Magician energy here in the crowning position, interestingly enough. I really love that there's so much manifestation and partnership energy right at the center. Like literally it's all love and accomplishment. And then we have that distracting energy in the environment that I was picking up on, kind of like that tornado, or it felt like someone was trying to put this spell of distraction. That's what I'm kind of call it there. And we'll talk more about the devil when we get to it. Otherwise, I like what I see, and I really want to get started with the center card here, the Three of Wands, a beautifully illustrated Three of Wands at that. So this is setting the tone for the month, Gemini, and the Three of Wands is a card of not just your ships coming in and manifesting happening, but there's a sense of urgency or immediacy, and again, in the best possible way. There could be something in front of you where someone says, we're ready to begin. Do you want to sign on the dotted line? You may speak something as a wish, and then later that day or later that week, you see it coming to fruition. I'll pull the traditional one while we're talking here, but typically there's someone that's passively looking at the horizon and ships are in the distance. What I like about this one, before I pull up the traditional one, is she's climbing, she's ready. She's saying, I'm not waiting, I know what I want, I'm gonna get there. Early bird gets the worm, and I'm gonna be that early bird. So I admire that. Some other things to be mindful of is to look in all directions. Here's your traditional Three of Wands. So in the traditional one, we see someone looking to the distance, but if he were distracted and looking here, or in the other direction, he'd miss it. So it's important to keep looking around, and I also think it's a little passive to wait for the ships to come to the dock, or the shore rather. She's saying, I'm not waiting, let's do this. So both of those are important takeaways. Again, look in all directions, be open to things happening faster, connecting from a different point than you might think, and then don't be afraid to meet someone halfway in the process. Suffice it to say, the first energy is like success, and we have manifestation right here, so it's a pretty good month so far. Crossing the center card, we have the Page of Coins, or the Page of Pentacles. This could be what I was talking about, an incoming opportunity where someone texts you or sends you an email or picks up the phone and says, hey, are you interested? This could be you reaching out too, because pages work both ways, just like a phone does. So you're either sending that request or receiving it, and it looks fruitful, folks. So right off the bat, if you've been waiting to do something, if there's been any delays, I don't see the need to continue delaying or worrying, because we see some immediate energy of movement, motion, momentum, possibility. This could also be you deciding to invest in yourself, or again, ask for some help on something to get it to the next level. No matter how you look at this, this is a very positive card right off the bat, okay? Let's see what's coming through in your deep past, and we'll revisit that one as necessary. You've done the work. The Hierophant in the deep past is like one of the best cards, because this is the ultimate in organization. It literally will represent things like schools, churches, government, basically anything that has tons and tons of levels of structure. And it can be a very organized structure as we're looking at it here. So take a moment and celebrate, for those of you that have done the work to get organized, that's why things like the Three of Wands and the Page of Pentacles is coming through right now. You've done the work. This is also spiritually entrenched. Typically you would see a papal figure and then two disciples. In this particular deck, it's just you. Ostensibly, we could see this as one of those students that is now ready to be the teacher or ready to embark. So one other message, if you're like, Nicholas, I'm not organized, then the message for you is, if you've been studying or working on something, you've gotten to the level now that you can do this. So this comes through as a graduation message for the rest of you. And again, symbolic graduation. Could have been a relationship, could have been a job, could have been a life experience. Whatever karmically you needed to learn, you've learned it. You leveled up +1. Now it's time to go to the next thing. And for many of you, that could be love, because we have the Lovers coming through in the reverse state. This time it has to feel right for you. It needs to be reciprocated. Karmically, because we're looking at these two together, there could have been instances in the past where there was unrequited love. You felt that they didn't, or vice versa. Or you kind of did the lion's share of the work, and you were waiting for them to meet you. Now it's very much on the level, equals, and it's just a question of, again, believing in yourself. When something good happens, when you finally meet that partner or that friend or that opportunity, because it can be any of this is a magnet card, don't second guess yourself. You're worthy. Karmically, you're wondering, am I worthy? Am I lovable? Energetically, yes, you are. But you have to, that's where the little bit of work that needs to be done is showing up here, is accepting your worth and feeling lovable. So the universe is saying it loves you, it appreciates you. Maybe part of your morning ceremony and prayer can be that sense of, I'm ready, I'm worthy, I'm lovable, and that's going to help others see the same. Okay, these are fascinating cards to be sort of like touching each other. So the Magician, manifestation, but also can be manipulation. And then the Seven of Swords works in concert with the Devil here as deception. So we'll talk about this. I do feel like there could have, for some of you, you've been in a situation where someone was trying to distract you. That's actually how the Seven of Swords typically works. The traditional card has people sort of arguing or doing something in the background, and then in the foreground, that character is getting away with it. Same sort of thing here. There's something going on, and this guy is just sort of trying to sneak around. So one thing that I would say right now, it's in the crowning position, meaning your third eye is aware of it. If you see someone that is doing something that doesn't seem right or isn't right, call it out. You have the power now. That's actually the main thing with this. You have the power to rectify it and sort of say, stop. The Magician in reverse can also be someone that is transparent. They are so very clear on, like, it could be jealousy, it could be distrust, it could just be micromanagement, whatever it is. because this is a lack of trust. So I think there could also be like a authority figure, parental figure, leader in your life that just has a hard time seeing or believing that you are, I told you, you graduated or leveled up. They can't see your worth. I can see it. Spirit can see it. It's showing me it in the cards. So I want you to see it, okay? This is also the sort of universe saying be real with yourself. If you want to make the change happen in your life, maybe it's a change in health or well-being, maybe it's your wealth, the most important thing is to take responsibility for your portion of it, forgive yourself, and now say, I'm ready. I'm going to do this. So getting real and then believing in yourself and your capacity to change, that's what's coming through. Couldn't be better for October here because we have the very Cinderella energy in this magician here and all the pumpkins. The mice are interesting. I associate them with financial challenges. So for some of you, it's time to look at your budget, look at your finances, look at your expenditure, even when it comes to your schedule, and kind of cinch it up a little bit and get in better control of that. All right. Focus. I think the other thing here with the magician reverse, I have no doubt that you can make things happen, but when the magician is reversed, often it lacks the focus to bring it to the next level. I said you were lovable. I said things could be happening fast. There could be an offer on the table. Lo and behold, the Ten of Cups is showing all of this and then some as possible. I love that we can see the beautiful sort of archway there, which is showing a portal or a door that many of you are walking through. And on the other side, we have love, friendship, opportunity. This is one of the ultimate magnet cards, second only to the Lovers when we're looking at your ability to connect with people. Other magnet cards would be like the Star card, for instance, or the Sun. They have this sort of uncanny ability to help you attract what's necessary. So again, it could be a new relationship as well if you're looking for love, a deepening of an existing one, or people around you seeing you and really seeing what you're worth and wanting you to be a part of that. Now remember, in spirit, what I was seeing in dreams this morning was to spend more time with the people that you loved. And before we even got into the reading, one of the things that I mentioned is relationships, the ones that mean the most, including pets. So for some of you, you're like, Nicholas, I'm not in a relationship traditional. Okay, spend some more time with your pets. Spend some more time with yourself, with your friends. Whatever the core relationship is in your life, a little bit more energy into that is going to be good. And have some fun. Spend time around people that are in the same sort of energy, like some of the same things. That's going to help you broaden your horizons, and hopefully through those groups that are, again, like-minded, you might meet some other people. And so friends of friends, new connections, this could help you with meeting new love, finding a new job. Networking is super important right now. I love this, folks. We're not doing a relationship reading, but if we were, this is like the cornerstone of it. We want the Ace of Cups. I really love that it's showing up as you, and I am so over the moon that it's in the upright position. That's the cup overflowing. That means you can do with the Ten of Cups and Lovers whatever you'd like. If you'd like to pursue a relationship, do it. If you want to pursue a passion, a project, or something of that nature, do it. If you just like to focus on spreading your own sort of love and energy, you got enough, because the cup is in the upright position and it's overflowing. If it's not, for some of you that are feeling, emotionally charged in this moment, when you work on these things that we see here, self-love and acceptance, removing any people in your life that are just not accountable, and trusting yourself, this starts to open up a little bit more. And again, really focusing on the environment. Now we're going to talk about that, because this is what we want in the near future. But some of you may still be in this energy. So this was the sort of spell or storm of distraction that I was picking up on. The devil works in many ways. One of the key functions of the devil is to take you out of your power and to distract you from opportunity. So there could be just noise, someone complaining, for instance, around you. There could be literal noise, like you're trying to sleep and the neighbors are noisy. You could be trying to work and there's people at work that are disrupting that. Whatever the noise is, try to tune that out. There could also be a toxic environment. So this could be a relationship or a job as a whole where you're just feeling like, I spend a lot of time and energy doing this, but I'm exhausted. I feel like I'm, a hamster turning in a wheel that isn't going anywhere. It's time to release yourself from that prison of sort of like stagnation. And that is another energy of the devil, because oftentimes you'll see it with like chains or weights or things that are tethering you. And we really want to untether you so that you can fly, so you can be free. If something looks too good to be true, it probably is. If someone, like we saw here in your third eye, you're starting to see someone's behavior, either manipulation or lack of integrity, call it out so that you can get beyond this. There's too many good cards this month. You don't have time for nonsense. So find your power. And by the way, it is fascinating. I'll probably have to pull the traditional cards on this, but the Lovers and the Devil are basically two versions of the same energy. This is unconditional love, this is conditional love, and this is honesty, and this is deceit. So let's look at the two traditional cards. We'll talk about how to liberate yourself, then we'll get into hopes, fears, and opportunities. So here's your Rider-Waite-Smith Lovers card, and here's your Rider-Waite-Smith Devil card. As I was looking at this, it's the difference between no, my way or the highway, or yes, believe in yourself, explore, and spread your wings. So the devil basically works by holding you down, holding you back, using things like fear and intimidation, whereas this one is about freedom, opportunity. Again, it's all open. It's open and it's inviting. You want to be looking for energy that is opening and inviting. You have a choice between the two. There's a doubt sometimes when you're looking at, because you got the Lovers upside down. So again, I feel like some of you just maybe didn't receive it in the past, and there's this feeling like, am I worthy of it? Yes, you are. If somebody comes through and says, just in their own words, that they're not good enough for you, or that you shouldn't be wasting your time on something, listen, it might be spirit speaking directly through them. And I always believe people when they say that now. So now I would say, well, I hadn't considered that. Thank you. I don't try to convince them otherwise. If someone tells me that it's a waste of time for me to work with them, okay, I'll spend my time somewhere else. And, that's an important message because you have Two of Pentacles here in the outcome. So see things as they are. Don't try to fix people or situations that aren't ready or worthy of your energy. You're going to be grateful in the long run that you're not sort of spinning your wheels. Before we get to Two of Pentacles, we have King of Pentacles. And this King of Pentacles is carrying the weight of the world on his back. So I think for many of you, you're used to being the mama or papa bear, helping everyone. You don't have to do that this month. It's okay to take care of you. This is the kind of like penultimate paternal card, second to the Emperor. And basically, this is usually a very giving card, and very loving, and sometimes to a fault giving things. When it's reversed, it's saying it's okay for you to focus on yourself this month. There's a difference between being introspective, taking care of yourself, and being selfish. Because this is in opportunity space, it's okay. It's also hopes and fears. So some of you are afraid to say, I want this, I need this. Don't be afraid. You can get what you want, you can get what you need, but it's important to say it. And that's the key to success this month. For those of you looking to go back to school or do something that is really, fulfilling, yes, all of that's coming through. We do have a tortoise on this card, or a turtle. It's hard to tell which on this, but speed could oscillate. There could be moments where it's faster, where it's slower. The thing to be mindful of is if you turn direction or if you meet someone halfway, you could speed things up a little bit. So don't focus so much. Time is a construct anyway, depending on where you're at in space. So don't put too much weight in how quickly or how slowly something is working. Now let's focus on your outcome. We have the Two of Pentacles. It's asking you to make a choice. And it's hard to make a choice, I get it. But that is going to be intrinsic and key to your general success and happiness and balance this month. This is one of the balance cards, Justice and Six of Pentacles being another one. But with the Two of Pentacles, and I'll find the traditional one, it's right here, thankfully, there's basically more of a call to action. You have to choose one and put your energy there. So when you do that, you're going to see this could actually help speed things up a little bit, because if you're tied in too many directions, and that's what we see with this, it's difficult. It's difficult for you to get to the next level, because that band will eventually break, and that could be your temper, your health, any number of things. And so by making that choice, by clearing that path and really focusing on one thing, you can really get into the energy of the magician. Let's expand this forecast a little bit. We're going to go deeper into the areas of health, wealth, love, and destiny. We're going to start off with health, which is your mind, body, and spirit. I think this was one, it was one of the ones where we got 2 cards. They're both reversed, but let's just look at the messages first. Divine masculine energy comes through first in the form of the peacock. So this is saying it's okay to be seen, to be a little bit bolder. Peacock energy, I would also connect to like the star, because, it's just shining, it's bright, it's there, it's for everyone to see. It's connected to the lovers as well, because a peacock, just like a firefly, when they light up, that's basically to attract a partner. So if you're looking to make a connection, this is the time to do so. And some of you may be afraid to put yourself out there. Don't be. It's healthy. We're looking in health. The other card that came through was the bull. There could be a Taurus coming into your life, by the way, but this is also, it says on this one sacrifice, but I also think of like stubbornness. Keeping an open heart, keeping an open mind, and not sacrificing your time and energy for everyone else. By the way, on this card, prosperity is also a message on the peacock. By stepping into that authenticity, by being seen, by not feeling like you have to give up everything to succeed or to be accepted, you have more to give in the long run. All right, let's look at the rest of the cards here and see what other messages are coming through for health. As I'm looking at the cards, these 2 pop out here. So this is about being honest with yourself. This is about not focusing on speed. So one of the things that I think could be really helpful here is, especially for those of you that are looking to make radical changes, basically now to just take a step back and say, let's stick to things that I can keep my promise, basically, to myself. So rather than saying, I'm going to exercise 7 days a week, what if I try to do 2 or 3 to start? And then once I've got that, then I can add on top of that. And rather than cutting everything out of your diet, you're going to take this out, replace it with that, slowly start to rebuild your nutrition, et cetera, et cetera. Obviously working with the professional on all of these, but I think it's about being strategic, realistic, giving yourself places where you can still enjoy and have fun and start to make positive strides. Because sometimes we are unrealistic. I've had that happen too, where you're like, I'm going to work out every single day, and it's just not something you're going to keep up. But if you decide Monday, Wednesday, Friday or something like that, it might be easier to do. Okay, so that's the first thing. I think that the other thing here is the power of just good social groups and activities. And, a lot of times we just end up putting all of our energy into all of these things that don't give back. But for you, this could be any number of things. It could be a class. It could be something like maybe you and your friends like to have a book club or a movie night, or I'm looking at this as just a chance to relate to people about things that you love and have some fun and make some connections. And this gets especially more challenging for those of you that are students enjoy right now, because as you get further along in your career, especially moving into retirement, it's almost like the circle of friends shrinks a bit. So for those of you that are mid-career or retired especially, I think it's important to put a little bit more focus into social activities. That was a big takeaway from the spiritual messages this morning. I feel like you're doing okay when it comes to working, on things around you, projects or learning, but it's more about having some fun and having some experiences that make the hard work worthwhile. That's one thing that I'm picking up on loud and clear. I think that I'm looking at this as a stretch. So before doing any exercise and just in general, it would be good to make sure that you're stretching a little bit more, especially for those of you like me that tend to sit a lot. It's important to take breaks, to walk, to stretch, to make sure that you're not sort of compressing the lower spine, etc. What else? Okay, the devil in the environment. This could be a person around you or an environment around you that brings out qualities you're trying to move away from. Either that person comes through and sabotages the progress you've made, or there's something around you that kind of helps you go back into old habits. So if it's a person or it's a place or it's a combination, it might be time to move beyond that. This is also letting go of any vice in your life, whether it's working too much, eating too much, exercising too much, anything in excess that is actually detrimental, you really want to pay attention to that this month. And speaking of that, this is the card of overdoing it, the King of Pentacles. Usually it's about treating yourself too much, overspending or overindulging, often in food or drink, but it can be any aspect of your life. So the two of these work in concert here. You want to be mindful of that. Just finding the proper balance in your life, more figuratively than literally with the Two of Pentacles. So work-life balance is more of what I'm getting with that. Otherwise, things are looking pretty good here. Okay. And I think that just getting organized in your house and creating this sort of meditation schedule, if you will, not in a way that makes it feel like work, but making it a more regular part of your practice. That, it's interesting. It's called a spiritual practice because practice makes perfect. And so give yourself time once or twice a week just to tune in. And it can be for 10 minutes or it could be for an hour. It doesn't matter, whatever your schedule allows. Just being quiet and listening and kind of like collecting your thoughts. It's so powerful. Those are the messages for health. Let's move on to wealth, resources, life, purpose, and career. And let's see what's going on here. I love this. Energy flows where my intention goes. I always like to remind people that working with intention and direction helps you get further, farther, faster. Also, I have a personal saying, which is if the energy isn't flowing, why are you going in that direction? So if you invariably, we've got this in your environment, by the way, if you keep getting blocked in one place, talk to some people, look elsewhere. This is almost like the world here because in many sort of like mythologies, there's like a tortoise with the world on its back. So I feel like changing location or kind of associating with different groups can help you get back into the flow energetically. All right, let's break this down into 3 categories: those who have a job, job seekers, and students and retirees. Starting off with those who have a job. Interestingly enough, there are some things going on in the environment that aren't great. This could be, first and foremost, like a big red flag for those of you where someone is trying to get you to do something that either doesn't follow protocol, isn't legal, or just doesn't feel right. You can say no. You should say no to that. It's not worth it. And invariably, that's just going to be a mess that you're then embroiled in that you don't need to be. So good boundaries, say no, have a second set of eyes, look at a contract for sure. Again, if you're already in a job, it could just be a contract with a vendor. It could also be someone that's trying to get away with not giving you what you're worth. Because we see that worth card reversed here. We see someone trying to maybe manipulate or move the facts, and that definitely, these cards work together. So, if you've got some sort of contractual protection, now's the time to lean on that. And maybe there's a lawyer that can help you in that situation right the wrong. Some good stuff for those of you that are like, I'm feeling all right. First of all, this can just be limiting thoughts. So don't limit yourself or don't listen to criticism that doesn't have a constructive element to it. What I like about what I see right now is everything across the center. Lovers, 3 of Wands, and 10 of Cups crossed by the Page of Pentacles. So maybe a new opportunity coming in, someone's jealous of it. That's all that can be sometimes. You're climbing the ladder literally here and figuratively. And then we see new people coming into your life. You might be meeting some new people. There could be some travel as well. But what I like about all of this for you is that you've done the work. Remember that. And don't doubt yourself. And if you see nonsense, call it out, say no, move in a new direction. King of Pentacles in reverse asks for what he wants. So does the Page of Pentacles. You have a chance of renegotiating something, fixing a problem. And in the long run, you may have to also just make up your mind, is this something I want to continue to do? Because the devil's a little messy, and I saw a lot of chaos around this. I don't think there's any sort of imminent thing to worry about, no danger or anything, but it's more a question of long term. Are you getting what you're putting in, like getting back what you're putting in? And if you're not, it's okay to look in a new direction. The growth opportunity this month, again, I think it is in leadership, of course, but it's really your ability to see just how good you're doing with partnering up with other people. So you're like a leader in disguise here. I feel like possibly undertitled because the Page is working with all of these things, but it's doing the work of the King. And so you could come out of a challenging situation on top. So there may be a problem, you're tasked to fix it. Afterwards, it feels good and you're rewarded, but it could take a little bit more time and energy in this new title or position. So I definitely see a step up, but the tricky part is it's a little messy and it might be a little bit set in stone. This can be a very traditional way of doing things, and then we have them kind of like turning a blind eye towards some of these behaviors, and you're trying to come in and fix it. It could be challenging. Your creative and passionate energy, though, is very much appreciated this month. Make sure that you're getting your fair share back, though, okay? It's pretty good overall. Don't force something. If someone says no, someone else will say yes. So look for that proper sort of like portal or gateway to go through. If you're an entrepreneur, before we move on to the next category, there's something going on like in where you're sort of like pushing your business, the channels that you're working through. There might be a better way to distribute. I'm getting like distribution here. So see if it's easier for you to go like direct to customers, or maybe you're going to choose a different distribution company, whatever that might be. If it's like a product, or if you're publishing through some sort of platform or whatever online, look for something better. There's something in the deal that doesn't look, it looks like they're getting more than they should on this, and you're not getting your fair share. The other thing that I see is you're just doing a great job with customer retention, and there might be a chance to kind of like go bigger, like go globalize a little bit, but less is more. So really fine tune what your biggest or best product is, or what your overarching sort of business model is, so that it's easier for people to wrap their head around what you're doing, okay? Let's move on to job seekers. Like I've been calling out here, there might be a block, and that's okay. So you have at least 2 opportunities knocking with the 2 of Pentacles. One is not worth it. It's either too hard to land the interview, or they're trying to sell you something, and it's like a pretty brochure, and then you go to a hotel or something and you're like, this doesn't look like that. Or for those of you that are looking for colleges, it looks great online. You look at it in person and you're like, when were those pictures taken? Where is this location? Because it's not what I'm seeing here. So there could just be that reality check, or it's just the universe closing a door so you go through the right one. That's kind of what I'm seeing. What's important for job seekers right now, you should feel this energy. It should feel welcoming, inviting. It's all about the vibe, the vibe of the coworkers, the culture, and maybe even the impact that you're making on the world, because this can be giving back to people that you kind of connect with. So for many of you, this could be like nursing, teaching, mentoring, whatever, because it's that group energy. So I'm seeing all of that. I really want you to look at contracts, because we've got 3 cards that show something that could be twisted in the wording. It's really important to have a lawyer or a skilled set of eyes read the contract to make sure that you're not kind of missing something important. Your personality is what wins you over. Yes, I think like your skills get you in the door, but it's your smile, it's your personality, it's your charisma that sort of like seal the deal. If there's a way to get a face-to-face, I know it's harder nowadays, but if there's a way to either have a FaceTime, Zoom, or some sort of, telepresence, that's going to be really important. Otherwise, just really focus on how you feel when you send things out. Stay positive. It will affect, at the very least, the words you choose and the way people feel when they receive that. It does make a difference. So think about that as you're applying. There's at least one rejection coming through that you really were hoping for. It's better that you get rejected on that. I hope that helps you. I know it's not easy, but this wasn't the one. And I think it might take until another couple weeks here, but we have the 2 opportunities. Go for the second one. It's going to be better. It's either a little bit more of a stretch and you're unsure of yourself, but it's going to be better in the long run, and you're more prepared for it than you think. Okay, so we looked at those who have a job. We looked at entrepreneurs, job seekers. Let's look at students next. Students. First of all, the 3 center cards are fantastic. I feel like you're doing a great job. Like, I like the teachers, I like the student body, I like the work that you're doing. It feels like you're getting a lot back. There could be something, though, in like the dorm that you're living in. There could be something in one of the classes that you're taking where it's really taking you out of your focus. So the one thing that is like a thorn in your side, please do what you can to remove that. Maybe that is dropping a class. I had to transfer from one dorm to another at a couple different points in undergraduate. One time just because there was not a great match with the roommate that I had. And then another time just because I worked hard to get into an honors dorm. So it was like on my own volition. So if you need to move, environment really does matter. And one thing that I did when I was in the more distracting environment was I would go to a library or student union or a cafe and study there just to get away from, the dorm room, which wasn't working for me. But that if you're paying money for it, work with our resident advisor and try to fix that, okay? Retirees. There could be something going on with family here. We'll look at this more in relationships, but I feel like you're trying to untether yourself from a family member or getting pulled into doing things for the family, like maybe you fix everything or you're babysitting all the time or they're asking for a lot of money or something. Yes, you're a source of support, but you can't be the only one. So one of the things here is trying to find that nice balance between helping and then you realize this is your time too, right? You're supposed to be enjoying things a bit. So the other thing here is holding yourself back from, I feel like some of you want to go back to work and that's okay. So maybe finding some opportunities for volunteer, freelance, or part-time work, and then also love. Those are right around the devil. So don't deny yourself if you want to be creative, focus on relationships, or go back to school or work. There's something here that's going to help you find your balance, your purpose, and you're never too young, you're never too old to try something different. And success cards apply to everyone, including you. A lot of energy around networking. And if you do decide to take on anything new, hobby, task, school, whatever, you can succeed. Let's move into relationships. We have the crow coming through for this. So in love, we have the crow, and it says co-create with spirit, something that I talked about earlier. For those of you that are like, Nicholas, I'm not focusing on love. Well, you could find a sort of creative partner that comes through, or a teacher or a mentor. And they're going to help you connect with your higher self and with spirit, and you're going to be able to unlock some doors. Sometimes someone else can see the potential way before you can. Before I started doing what I'm doing now, I used to, there was a point where I was an art director and an art manager, and there was a boss that took me to the side and said, "You're actually like a producer." And at the time, I don't know why I felt like, no, I'm not. But I didn't understand what a producer did. And I'm totally a producer, but I'm also a creative person. So I'm like a creative director and a producer at the same time. I don't have to or want to have to choose. I just kind of oscillate between the two depending on the task at hand. But that was a big awakening for me, realizing, hey, I actually have a knack for making things happen, organizing things. I can do things on the back end. And I'm a planner, I'm a producer, and I'm also a creator. So I'm going to give you that freedom too, that you don't have to just be either or. When I was in a company, I had to choose departments, but in real life, and when we look at really successful people, they do multiple things. A lot of times actors can also write poetry, sing songs, do other things, because any creative person has to be able to access multiple channels. So I think not limiting yourself to a single channel is important. And finding people that can see you in all of those different, all the facets of your soul is going to be important, both in wealth and also here in love. So let's take a look at relationships. We're going to break it down into 3 categories. Those who are currently in a relationship, seeking love, or who are single and happy. If you're currently in a relationship, I think that what I was talking about earlier is very interesting. The core family seems good, but there could be someone attached to the family. Could be aunt, uncle, brother, sister, in-law, or someone that just, you don't have a choice but to associate with them, but they kind of bring out the worst qualities. And it's sort of like, oh, how do I keep my mouth shut? There comes a point where you just don't have to engage with that person as much. Maybe you don't go to the gatherings as often, or you have your partner, especially if it's attached to their side of the family, just step in and say, stop. Because at the end of the day, you, your partner, if you have children, that is the new 10 of Cups. That That is the core family. The other people are the extended family, but these are the people you spend nights and days with every day. And if the person can't respect the boundaries, something has to be said. And if the partner's not standing up for you and it is someone on their side, that's a conversation you have to have with them. And reminding them again that this is the core family, you and them and your children, or whoever's in your family, that's the main focus now. Okay, so that's one challenge that I see. There could also be just a person coming in. It could be a parent, because King of Pentacles is usually paternal, so it could be father, uncle, brother, something like that. But paternal energy coming through and trying to tell you how to do things. So again, boundaries are important. That's one thing that I pick up on time and again. Could be an ex. Sometimes you share children with an ex and that makes it challenging. So no matter how we look at this, whoever this is, having a proper boundary and keeping them on their side. That's why there's a cage here. It's sort of like there has to be boundaries. But they're like Eight of Swords too. They don't want to acknowledge that, so that's the challenge with this one. All right, other things that I'm picking up on. If everything is good in your family, and we're not looking at this, what I would say right now is my channeled messages really apply, which is we can see work, we can see a lot of obligations. So this can be if you have a family taking kids to do this and you're focusing on your passion, like it just feels like you're tied in, or pulled in a lot of directions. Two of Pentacles. Making time to come together and really focus on just having some fun and getting the priorities straight on both sides is going to be really, really important. It's hard to focus right now and concentrate. I keep picking up on the distraction energy. So anything that you can do that connects you to just like having fun, being with the people that you have fun the most with, and letting that be a regular part of your weekly schedule at the very least is going to be advantageous. There's some stubbornness with one partner, traditional energy, resistance to change. So the Hierophant and the Devil can work together in that part. There's also one partner that's a much better receiver than a giver when it comes to time, energy, kindness, listening, and things of that nature. So in that case, you have to try to model behavior and ask for what you want. Also realize there's only so much that any one person can change until they want to. And I'm seeing that there could be some resistance to that desire to change. It's a bigger sort of discussion, and it's more than this spread or my conversation with you can fix. When it comes to that, it's usually time to get some therapy or have a third party come in and help out. Professional, that is. Okay? There are some positive things as well. Some of you might be moving up when it comes to, again, a promotion at work. There could be an addition to the family. That could be a pet. It could be a baby. It could also just be if you've been in a long-term relationship but haven't officially gotten married or engaged, it can be that as well. So there's a lot to love, but there are a couple of challenges that came through. If you're looking for love, can you find it? Yes, but one of the people, and it is directly tied to an earth sign, could be unavailable or may not be able to give you everything that you're looking for. There's a lot of attraction, and I think it's mutual, but this person may not want to get married or start a family. They may still be attached to someone, meaning that they're not out of a relationship or might be finalizing a divorce. It's a little messy here. And I think the most important thing here is to value integrity and honesty. And if it's lacking at the beginning, it'll be lacking in the long run. It could be a Capricorn too. The Devil can be a Capricorn. In that case, the Capricorn is very focused on business and work and still seems a little resistant to maybe put as much energy as you need in this case for the relationship to work. It does feel like there's a past energy coming through, again, a little bit more conservative, maybe an old soul kind of connection. There's a chance to reconnect with that if you want to. Maybe there was a window that didn't exist before, like timing was off, but the timing is right now. Okay, for those of you that are happily single, I think it's actually ideal for you. Perfect, good for you. This is showing you that in this moment in time, you can focus on healing, cutting ties with people, places, and things that are wasting your time and energy, focusing a little bit more on growing your friend and family connections here and work connections, getting further ahead when it comes to business or self-education, development, and just trying to find better balance in your life. That's the main message for everybody this month, okay? Let's move on to destiny. Interesting. So it reads the venom. Some of you might be healing from something that someone said, because that's what this reminds me of. I'm looking at the teeth, I'm looking at the mouth. And it takes a minute. It takes more than a minute. I'm using that as a figure of speech, but know this. It speaks more to what the person is lacking in their life when they feel like they have to say something that hurts you. If all they can do is cut down, if all they can do is lash out, typically it's coming from a place of internal pain. It's coming from a lack of, empathy or maturity. And in this situation, you really want to focus on leading by example and letting go of it. It's not worth it. And finding the anti-venom. And in this situation, I really do feel like it's other people who can see you for who you are. And if there's just one bad apple in the bunch, take it for what it is, and it's just one voice of many. You're never going to please everybody. All right, before we move on to the next portion, let's look at Apollo. Let's check in with my buddy and see how he's doing. He's still resting. All right, we're going to focus now on the sun, rising, and moon sign messages. Let's give the cards a shuffle and see what Spirit has to say. I'm going to put this over here. All right. Sun, we got 2 cards. Rising and moon. Let's get started with the sun sign. You have 2 of the best cards for meeting new people here. 6 of Cups, 3 of Cups. 6 of Cups is the energy associated with like a best friend, a sibling, someone that you can really just feel like this is fun, this is great, this is real. And again, it is almost like that instant best friend energy. I've had that a few times in my life. When it comes across, it's really important to connect with it. Don't second guess it. Have a good time. So this is a great time to meet new contacts. I like that. And then we have a chance also to mix and mingle, and this networking card can bring about all types of new kind of connections here. New love, new friends. This is good word of mouth in business, and all of these things portend positive changes. The 6 of Cups, by the way, can also be the inner child coming out, wanting to play, listening to that and deciding, you know what, I'm going to do this because I've been putting it on the back burner forever. It's my turn. It can be an increased focus on children in your life if you're deciding to start a family or want to spend time with them. It can be deciding to, again, just really focus this month on different groups of people. This is friends and coworkers, again, and this would be more intimate connections here, but a little bit of both. I feel like the call to action this month is meeting new people and sort of like expanding your horizons through those relationships. Good energy across the board. Not much bad to say on that. I think the main thing is getting yourself out of your shell and just putting yourself out there. That's the main takeaway there. Moving on to rising sign. We have the 4 of Swords here. You're overdue for a break. It's harder to see in this particular illustration, so I'll pull up the traditional while we're talking. But many of you may have been sort of just working on empty, pulling late nights, drinking too much caffeine, doing the work of 2 or 3 people. You have vacation saved up, but you're not taking it. That's more of a problem in the US than other parts of the world. But wherever it is that you're just sort of depleting yourself or depriving yourself, know this, there does come a point where not only is there diminishing returns, but just plain out, burnout. So I think the main takeaway right now is give yourself the rest and the relaxation that you've earned. As you can see, we've got the 3 swords above this person and the 1 sword beneath it. So they're putting to rest the pain or discomfort, and they're gaining from it the ace, this new sense of vitality and ideas. Just like me, some of the best things come through when you're resting or meditating, so make time for that this time. I should say this month. It's important and it's undervalued, okay? Focusing now on moon sign messages, clarity is what's necessary. It's a time to dream, but eventually get clear on what it is that you're looking for. Sometimes with the 7 of Cups, you can go down a rabbit hole of opportunity, of fear, of uncertainty. So I would say box in sort of the time that you're going to spend on researching, box in how much time you're going to worry about things, and then put it to the side and say, okay, I'll look at this tomorrow. I've done enough work for today. Let me sleep on it like we just talked about and see if I get better ideas in the morning, okay? People may also be asking you for ideas. don't worry about them being perfect. It's more about the fact that they're open to, they just want to hear what's on your mind. So give yourself room to simply kind of like sketch it out imperfectly and see where that leads next. Because if we try to, out of the gate, be perfect, it really sort of clamps down on the creative process overall. All right, now is your chance to look at one final question. If there's something that I haven't answered yet, go ahead and think about it. I'm going to give the cards a shuffle, and we'll see what Spirit has to say. Interesting. Okay. You received the Hanged Man in reverse. First and foremost, this is the universe saying, slow down. Make sure that you're taking a look at this from all angles. There may be an easier way. And I mentioned the importance in the Three of Wands of making sure that you're not limiting yourself to a direction, to a connection, etc. And when you slow down and look at it from a different perspective, it comes through. This also represents a necessary pause, and it feels like, for those of you that feel certain, this could mean yes, but not right now, not yet. Don't force the timing, because if you take a moment or two more, you may find a better way, you may find a mistake, and you can improve it or fix it before something is done. And it's important to just go with the timeline that's in front of you with respect to this. This is also saying slow down and be more mindful of this, just tuning in, take care of yourself in this moment. Usually there's also attention paid to the feet in this card. Sometimes there can be an acute pain. It can be something around the Achilles or the heel or one of the metatarsals, and you just want to take care of yourself and obviously get help if that's going on. But slow and steady wins the race. There's no rush, and that's what we've got with that card. All right, folks, that's everything. Thank you so much for allowing me to be a conduit to bring everything through for you this month. If you enjoyed this, a quick and simple way to show your support is by liking and subscribing, especially if you've never subscribed before. I'm close to a milestone. When I get to that milestone, I'll do like a Q&A video. So let's get there. Let's do this. You can also follow me on social media just to get additional reminders. It's always my full name, Nicholas Ashbaugh. Make sure that there's not any additional characters. And just a reminder, there's people out there that try to pretend to be me, and they may message you or ask for things in indirect messages or comments. Block and report. You know I don't work that way. Stay safe. You can give back right here through Super Stickers, Super Chat, and Super Thanks, or you can become a member. And I just want to say in advance, thanks to everybody that does that. If you have any questions about me or, again, finding my official channels and social media handles, you can go to my website as well. And that's everything. Thank you so much for being the best part of what I do here on YouTube. Thank you for spending time with both Apollo and I. I appreciate it. And we both wish you the best in the month ahead. Take care of yourselves. I'll see you soon. Be well.